and an old priest said, "Speak to us of religion." And the prophet said, "Have I spoken this day of aught else? Is not religion all deeds and all reflection?"
Just need some place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? Just grinned and shook my hand. No was all he said. Take a load off, Fanny.
And that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone or tend the loom. Who can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupations? Who can spread his hours before him, saying, "This for God, and this for myself, this for my soul, and this other for my body"? All your hours are wings that beat through space, from self to self. He who wears his morality but as his best garment were better naked. The wind and the sun will tear no holes in his skin. And he who defines his conduct by ethics imprisons his songbird in a cage. The freest song comes not through bars and wire. And he to whom worshipping is a window, to open but also to shut, has not yet visited the house of his soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take with you your all. Take the plow and the forge, and the mallet and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. For in reverie, you cannot rise above your achievements, nor fall lower than your failures. And take with you all men. For in adoration, you cannot fly higher than their hopes, nor humble yourself lower than their despair. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles. Rather look about you, and you shall see him playing with your children. And look into space. You shall see him walking in the cloud. Outstretching his arms in the lightning, and descending in rain.
I've got an idea. Let's go outside.
You shall see him smiling in flowers. Then rising and waving his hands in trees.
The score, all dressed in satin and waiting by the door. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. White lace and feathers, he made up his bed. A gold-covered mattress on which he was led.
Imagine the time. The particle you are returns where it came from. The family darling comes home, wine, without being contained in cups, is handed around. A red glint appears in a granite outcrop, and suddenly the whole cliff turns to ruby. At dawn, I walked with a monk on his way to the monastery. We do the same work, I told him. We suffer the same. He gave me a bowl. And I saw the soul has this shape. Shams. This desire will find an opening. There was once a man who inherited a lot of money and land, but he squandered it all too quickly. Those who inherit wealth don't know what work it took to get it. In the same way, we don't know the value of our souls, which were given to us for nothing. So the man was left alone without provisions, an owl in the desert. The prophet has said that a true seeker must be completely empty like a lute to make the sweet music of Lord, Lord. When the emptiness starts to get filled with something, the one who plays the lute puts it down and picks up another. There is nothing more subtle and delightful than to make that music. Stay empty and held between those fingers, where gets drunk with nowhere. This man was empty, and the tears came. His habitual stubbornness dissolved. This is the way with many seekers. They moan in prayer, and the perfumed smoke of that floats into heaven, and the angels say, "Answer this prayer. This worshipper has only you and nothing else to depend on. Why do you go first to the prayers of those less devoted?" God says, "By deferring my generosity, I am helping him." His need dragged him by the hair into my presence. If I satisfy that, he'll go back to being absorbed in some idle amusement. Listen how passionate he is. That torn open cry. is the way he should live. Nightingales are put in cages because their songs give pleasure. Who ever heard of keeping a crow? When two people, one decrepit and the other young and handsome, come into a bakery where the baker is an admirer of young men, and both of them ask for bread, the baker will immediately give what he has on hand to the old man. But to the other he will say, "Sit down and wait a while. There's fresh bread baking in the house, almost ready." And when the hot bread is brought, the baker will say, "Don't leave, the halva is coming." So he finds ways of detaining the young man. With, "There's something important I want to tell you about. Stay, I'll be back in a moment. Something very important." This is how it is when true devotees suffer disappointment in the good they want to do or the bad they want to avoid. So this man with nothing, who had inherited everything and squandered it, kept weeping, "Lord, Lord!" Finally, in a dream, he heard a voice. "Your wealth is in Cairo. Go there to such and such a spot and dig, and you'll find what you need." So he left on the long journey, and when he saw the towers of Cairo, he felt his back grow warm with new courage. But Cairo is a large city, and before he could find the spot, he had to wander about. He had no money, of course, so he begged among the townspeople. But he felt ashamed doing that. He decided, "I will go out at night and call like the night mendicants that people throw coins into the street for." Shame and dignity and hunger were pushing him forward and backward and sideways. Suddenly, he was seized by the night patrol. It so happened that many had been robbed recently in Cairo at night, and the Caliph had told the police to assume that anyone out roaming after dark was a thief. It's best not to let offenders go unpunished. Then they poison the whole body of society. Cut off the snake-bitten finger. Don't be sympathetic with thieves. Consider instead the public suffering. In those days, robbers were expert and numerous. So the night patrol grabbed the man. "Wait, I can explain." "Tell me." "I am not a criminal. I am new to Cairo. I live in Baghdad." He told the story of his dream and the buried treasure, and he was so believable in the telling that the night patrolman began to cry. Always the fragrance of truth has that effect. Passion can restore healing power and prune the weary boughs to new life. The energy of passion is everything. They are fake satisfactions that simulate passion. They taste cold and delicious, but they just distract you and prevent you from the search. They say, I will relieve your passion. Take me. Take me. Run from false remedies that dilute your energy. Keep it rich and musky. The night patrol said, I know you're not a thief. You're a good man, but you're kind of a fool. I've had that dream before. I was told in my dream that there was a treasure for me in Baghdad, buried in a certain quarter of the city on such and such a street. The name of the street, that he said, was where this man lived. And the dream voice told me, it's in so-and-so's house. Go there and get it. Without knowing, he had described the exact house and mentioned this man's name. But I didn't do what the dream said to do. And look at you who did, wandering the world, fatigued and begging in the streets. So it came quietly to the seeker, though he didn't say it out loud. What I'm longing for lived in my house in Baghdad. He filled with joy. He breathed continuous praise. Finally, he said, the water of life is here. I'm drinking it. But I had to come this long way to know it. This state cannot be seen because it is everything seen, and so remains unshown. It cannot be heard because it is everything heard, and so remains unspeakable. It cannot be known because it is everything known, and so remains great mystery. as unknowable, unobstructed, unqualified consciousness. It shines forth in completion from moment to moment, like an infinite series of ever newly perfected states. Forever changing in its play, forever the same in its fullness. It appears to be the end limit of evolution, but is actually the prior reality of every stage of evolution, first to last, endlessly. In just this way, it is always and perfectly unattainable, simply because it is always already the case, timeless and eternal. It is just that, as all attempts to attain it are finally undone, it is understood to have been fully present from the start. Never lost and never regained. Never forgotten and never remembered. But always already the case, prior to any of that. Which is why it is said that ordinary beings do not lack it, and Buddhas do not possess it. As infinite, all-pervading and all-embracing consciousness, it is both one and many, only and all, source and suchness, cause and condition, such that all things are only a gesture of this one. And all forms a play upon it. As infinity, it demands wonder. As God, it demands worship. As truth, it demands wisdom. And as one's true self, It demands identity. In its being, it has no obstructions, and this no trace continues forever. Bliss beyond bliss beyond bliss. It cannot be felt. Light beyond light beyond light. It cannot be detected. Only obvious. It is not even suspected. Only present. It shines even now.